What is up, realmers and pups, furries, fays, dragonsons, cryptids, mythical creatures, beings of consciousness, concepts of reality, gamers alike. How it be, what it do, and what it is. Welcome back. My goal this part, I really want to be at 12,700 if possible. Uh-oh, one sec. Gotta be careful here. Okay, come on, please. Just let me in. I need credit for this kill. Oh my god, don't put me in this area, don't put me in this area. That's where the spooky ghost comes in. See, there it is. Ooh, get away, get away. Alright. Okay, we're going over here. Boss wasn't going down fast enough for me. Oof, it hurt. Is this active? No, it's not active. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, please. Alright. Okay, a little bit of a spooky biome here, not gonna lie. Just a little bit spooky, a tad bit. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, let's try to get in there a little bit. Oh no, 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 no. There we go, because this needs to go down. I don't know, I have a feeling the sentry's going to go down first. Okay, no. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Oh god, I'm not fine. Oh, what a horrible biome, dude. Ugh. Disgusting. Horrible, awful biome. They need to take this biome away. Stat. Pronto. I don't want this. We need to get rid of this. I don't want this in the realms anymore. Or at least revise it. Reduce the amount of shots all these enemies dish out. It's like this biome is just made for enemies that shotgun. Every single one of them. Spew hate all over the freaking chessboard. Just puke all over it. Had too many hot dogs. Made sure to eat relish beforehand too, so that way the puke looks comically green. Ugh. Ugh. Dang, that's a lot of friggin' decoys. Alright, gotta watch out for the mushrooms. Here come the mushrooms. There's gonna be one over here. And then the next one, I think some of the roamers right here are standing on top of it. Cause yeah, it's just, I've seen it pop a lot of roamers. Yeah, let's take that out. That's alright, I got a little bit of damage in. I'm not trying to like push or nothing. Thank you kindly for your protection. It's not a problem. But now I must go and leave this awful, wretched place. This vile, horrible place. Ah, I could shoot you, but you can't get in here. Wow, nice. Imagine a class that made like a little wall. You know what I mean? Like a wall for projectiles and stuff. The projectiles. Alright, let's see if I can find some of these flames. Like a moth to the flame. There's another right there. Give me all the flames. Collect them all. What if I talk like this? Alright, we ignore the bots. Alright, let's go, buddy. Come on, token of happiness. Token of happiness. That's all I need is just a token of happiness. Please, just give me a token of happiness. That would be stellar if I got a token of happiness. Please, just a... Let's get over there fast. I didn't get the token of happiness. It's alright though. Maybe another time I'll get the token of happiness. Ugh, the keyer of cars. How scary! I have a giant key! And I throw these little shards at you for some reason. These little icicles. Very scary. Sometimes I don't rotate. I think that's the scariest thing of all. Not rotating the screen. Gets all disorienting. Piddle a little bit. Scared to lose the character. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Oh man, I'd love to do that Lost Halls, but Keeper is greater than Moonlight. Technically, because of all the potential loot that can drop from this stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. Another one. See, look. The moment another bot shows up, just put it on ignore. Give it the ban hammer. That's all you gotta do. Just give it the ban hammer. Don't let it speak ever again. The bots don't deserve to speak. They don't deserve to have a voice. Alright, here, let's be careful here. Man, earlier when I was in queue for this realm, there's this realmer that they're like, does anyone else here watch Onyplays? And I was like, yeah, I used to, but you know, when the Shadman stuff came out, and you know, it's like, oh man, they're kind of close to this guy and stuff like that. I'm not insinuating they did anything, right? I'm not insinuating that at all. I just, after hearing that, right, I was like, dang, dude, that's such a shame, man. Like, sometimes you associate with a bad individual. It sucks. But then you start to, because pretty much if you don't know, Shadman is an artist that was depicting underage girls, and he would do this frequently. And then the biggest scandal he was a part of was he drew Keemstar's daughter in a provocative way, and he openly defended pedophiles and stuff like that. And so, you know, I was like, you know, after hearing that and stuff, and then, you know, the truth coming to light about, you know, Shadman and stuff like that, you're like, oh man. But then you hear like, oh, he was on Sleepy Cabin. He went on like Onyplays, and he had this argument with one of the co-hosts of Onyplays, like someone else who was there. And oh god, come on, don't, thank you. Oh, okay. And pretty much what was going on was he was like, this one of the co-hosts was like asked, or the topic got brought up or something, where they're like, what would you do if you like found like a pedophile? And he'd be like, oh dude, I'd hang him and skin him. And the Shadman was like, but why though? Like, they have their own creative expression. And you know, he was like, no, that's a pedophile. They're like kid toucher pretty much, you know, and that's not okay. You don't touch innocence like that, pretty much. And just to sum it up, but Shadman was like getting all like confrontational about it, and then you know, it's just basically like true colors showing in a moment like that. But then, you know, I was like, damn, that sucks. But then I continued listening to like Onyplays compilations, because that's pretty much like what swarms Onyplays content nowadays is just like the compilations. And so I was listening to the compilations, but like throughout the compilations, you'll hear like these really odd like comments and statements and stuff about like oh yeah, you bet it was like a little boy dick or something like that. And it's like, I don't know. And then you hear, oh yeah, I was out eating at a restaurant with my good friend Shadman. He's such a good soul and stuff like that. And you know, it's like it seems like a wholesome story, but it's like, if this guy's openly defending, like, you know, drawing kitty stuff, right? If you catch my drift, kids in provocative positions, pretty much. What is he saying behind closed doors? Behind a microphone that he knows is recording his voice and going public. You know what I mean? And for me personally, something just felt a little off about it. And then, you know, there's a lot of like baby play going on. I mean, like, yeah, I know it's funny talking like a baby. That's one thing, but like, I don't know. It just, something fell off to me, and I'm not insinuating anything here. I'm not insinuating that, you know, Onyplays or the cast of Onyplays are into that sort of thing. It's just maybe they did something at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like making a joke at like the worst possible time about something. Like your friend calls you, like in Shrek, right? And he was like, someone came into the room, he's like, someone better be dying. And lo and behold, the king was dying, right? It's like, maybe it was like one of those situations, you know, where they're just like toying around with that. Because I mean, Newgrounds was a very like open to a lot of different types of humor type of platform, and that's where they all kind of met up, originated from, even worked in the Newgrounds office. And so it's like one of those things of like, oh man, who can you trust? Who, you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, they seem like genuinely good people, you know what I mean? But like for me, I stopped listening to them because something fell off to me personally, and I'm not saying you should stop listening to them if you do, or if you watch their stuff. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It's just my own personal decision was to pretty much just be like, okay, I don't feel entirely comfortable indulging in this individual or these individuals' content, just because it felt off. You know, it felt like something was up. Just in terms of like the jokes that were being made in Sleepy Cabin or Sleepy Cast, whatever you want to call it. Jokes that were being made throughout the Onyplays travels in gaming. The scenarios that were being said, that were the hypotheticals that were being brought up, and it just, for me, it's like I don't find it humorous, and I don't mean to sound like a soy boy or like a snowflake here. It's just where my morals lie. I don't find that humorous to I don't find it humorous to talk about a hypothetical situation of the portrayal of a minor in a sexual situation. I don't find that funny. I don't think it's like something that I would even be comfortable talking about. Like, it's just not something that's in my vocabulary of conversation whatsoever. So Damn, I missed out on that. So, I don't know. I mean, like, to each their own, but this pretty much, like, back to the original point was this roamer was like, oh, man, Shadman did nothing wrong. And then I brought up the fact, I was like, yeah, no, I mean, it's been proven that this guy likes depicting young children and sees nothing wrong with it. And they're like, yeah, what is wrong with that? And then a bunch of other roamers were like, yo, holy shit. A bunch of other roamers were like, yo, that's not something to try to, like, defend, you know? And, yeah, they just kept like, they're like, no, dude, I mean, like, back then, everyone was making stuff like that. And it's like, no, because if you know Newgrounds, like, I was on Newgrounds back in the day, and that stuff, it was a mixture of controversial humor, not and you know, the adult content pretty much. But you know, if someone's making childlike adult content, I feel like that's where the line for me personally is crossed. I mean, apparently to other people it's not. But I mean, it's I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like ew. You know, it's like you try to justify that type of stuff, and it's like, in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, but all these other people were making crazy jokes back then. The internet was wild back then. Just because the internet's wild doesn't mean that, like, some of the stuff that's being made isn't, like, alright. It's like, you know, it's not okay. Or, I mean, sorry, just because that stuff was wild doesn't mean some of that stuff is okay. Like, I mean, yeah, I know I get pretty, like, wild sometimes in this channel. But I'm never over here being like, let me have a guest on my show, and then let me make up a bunch of hypotheticals with my guests on the show about if they were a kid, what they would do to their ding-a-ling, or let's talk about experiences I had where I saw another kid's schlong. You know, it's not something I'm ever going to do, and if someone does, you know, it's like it depends, because if I'm on their platform, then I'm just gonna decline to talk about it. You know, it's gonna be awkward, but I'm gonna decline to talk about it. But if someone's on my platform talking about it, I'm just gonna end it right then and there. I'm gonna cut them off and be like, all right, cool, see you later, bye. You know, and I mean, people will be like, oh, you're a snowflake. Yeah, okay, fuck it, then I'm a snowflake. I don't get down with what is that, Skull Shrine? Let's see, what is this? Oh, okay, Skull Shrine. Damn, I need to go to Skull Shrine. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's go. Oh, no one's here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, okay. Alright, going back up here then. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, call me snowflake, I don't care. You can give me a title, I don't care. I don't succumb to pressure like that. I mean, yeah, like if someone's like, hey, like recently, not recently, but near the beginning of the series, there was a roamer that was like, hey, you're uploading too much, you're uploading too frequently. And back then, I was really new to the game, and I was like, oh man, like I don't want to disappoint the community and stuff. So I took what they said like a freaking boulder, you know. But then I started uploading less, and even to this day, I have some trouble with my regaining that upload mentality. And I don't know, it's just one of those things of like, ooh, glad I made it here on time. Skull Shrine got splitted, but that's alright. Yeah, I don't know, it's just, back then, yeah, I did feel like I was like, oh man, you know, and even to this day it's affected me, but like, I really learned from that. I really did. I learned from that, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing what I feel works, and you know, it's working for me, and you know, I feel like I'm doing pretty good, getting my own footing back again, my own mindset back, which kind of sucked, but you know, that's just the effect that like when you take what other people who aren't you, like what they have to say and stuff like that to heart, it'll really affect you. It'll change you, and so that's why like even in that circumstance too, where it's like it's okay to draw children and adult rated oh god, carboniferous. I don't want to do that. Oh god. Okay, here we're gonna go this one first. World's oyster. Okay. I don't know. That's just something that like it's like no, that's. I mean, you can be edgy, right? You can be edgy in a multitude of different ways. You have a whole list of ways to be edgy, and resorting to like trying to reach the edge through like kid stuff like that is, I don't know. I lose respect for stuff like that, and so. Yeah, again, you know, people will say, "Oh, you're sensitive. Oh, you're soy boy. Oh, you're snowflake. Oh, you're like a bitch type of thing, right?" But it doesn't matter to me because that right there is like a moral standard, right? That's a moral standard. But like in terms of like the realm stuff, nice. Give me that fame. Because I mean, I guess I'm explaining the difference here. So in terms of like the like, I guess you can call this a hobby or something, right? In terms of like the hobby standard, when I'm playing this game and I'm like having a good time, having a ball, but then someone comes along and kind of is just like, oh, hey, you're uploading too much. It's kind of like a buzzkill, and I think that's the best way I can describe it. Like, it wasn't necessarily completely a buzzkill. Hold on one sec. I need to grab a tissue really quick. Okay, so I'm not saying it's like a complete buzzkill. But, you know, it felt like it. Because, like, imagine you're at a party, you're dancing, you're having a good time, someone comes up and is like, dude, you look like a dork. And you kind of stop for a moment, because every human does. You know, you receive an external stimuli, you're going to respond to that stimuli, whether you say, oh, I didn't respond to it or not. Yes, you did. You responded by trying to ignore it. You processed it, and then you chose to ignore it. You processed it, and then you decided blank to whatever it may be, and that's what happened to me. And so then I stopped uploading. Then I got really depressed, and then I started uploading less, and it felt like I was trying to do sit-ups with a boulder on my stomach. Like, it felt impossible. And, you know, it's like what ended up happening was I realized I took what this stranger that I just met said to heart, and I allowed it to change me, and which sucks because change can happen overnight, but there's some change that takes time to take effect, and I think that's what happened was it reverted me to this lower level, and so I just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still struggling to make these skit videos. Oh man, okay, I didn't even type it in, damn. But, you know, it's like, that's just the thing though, is that like, I forgot where I was going with this. But pretty much, when it comes to, like, listening to other people and succumbing to, like, peer pressure or something like that, like, I used to be very, very headstrong, and then for a moment I was like, you know what, maybe I should, like, listen to, like, input and stuff, even though, like, I already, me, myself, felt like I had what I'm doing figured out. It changed my whole mentality, my whole motive, my drive, everything. And so, especially when it comes to, like, serious stuff like that, like, I am immovable. I'm like a solid wall that won't give in. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just, that's my input on the whole Onyplays stuff. And I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm better or nothing like that, right? Like, I mean, I get pretty boring a lot of the time, and there's a lot of videos where I'm just like, I'll be quiet and then I'll talk like in like 30-second increments and stuff like that. There's some videos where I'm just not on my A game. There's a lot of videos where I'm not on my A game. Ooh, dang, mistress. Dang, rip. But like, I don't know. I mean, what I am comparing though, in terms of like me in comparison to Onyplays, is I don't, nor have I ever joked about like screwing kids. I made the closest I've ever gotten to that was I was doing this verbal auditorial sort of, ooh, I'll take that, thank you. Oh yeah, get that dopamine. I made this verbal auditorial type of skit, right? Where I was joking about something going on in the world right now, but I was using Leo dolls, which is the lizard from the Adam Sandler movie. But then the Leo dolls end up getting mass produced, and then it turns out there was a bunch of like adult men voicing each of these dolls behind the walls of some structures and stuff. And sorry, once I had to focus there. You know, and in one of the parts of the little skit that I was doing on the spot, I was portraying one of the characters, and it was like this kid being like, oh yeah, I have all these problems, yeah, and stuff like that. And the Leo doll's like, yeah, that's cool, now take off your clothes, you know? But I'm not like putting myself in that position or anything like that. And I think that's like the first time in like 2,600 and some odd videos that I made a joke like that. You know, I'm not doing it more than that, and even then I'm referencing things going on in the world and not like personal experiences or anything like that. So it's yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of like the difference there, is how it's coming about as well. Like, and I'm not like asking in vivid detail about this shit either. So, I don't know. Personally, I just couldn't. It's funny because, like, you know, I see that, like, Psychic Pebbles, Zach, has his own show right now, and I'm like, dude, I'm just waiting for the day someone from mainstream watches one season of Sleepy Cast or Sleepy Cabin and it's just like, wow, he said that stuff multiple times? I'm not gonna say it, but it's just, it's like, now they're like trying to throw away their old images and stuff like that, and because they're like, we're not like that anymore, but it's like, damn, dude, like, digital footprint, man. That's a real thing. Ooh, that gamer juice is really cold. Ah. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, like, everyone's got skeletons in the closet, right? I'm not saying I don't. But like, my skeletons were like imposed, if that makes sense. Pretty much like, I don't know, it's just this thing though of like, I feel like, man, how do I even put this? I feel like, let's do this. Da Wiz Wang. Oh, I thought that was Da Wizzy for a moment. I was like, I don't have him on lock? Huh. No, I do, but I don't know. It's just like, and I'm not wishing the downfall on Zach, right? On Zach Pebbles. I'm not. But, you know, I'm also not saying that he didn't take part in those type of conversations. But, I mean, there's a lot of conversations that, you know, he took part in as well. But I'm not trying to call for cancel culture or nothing like that. Because, yeah, I don't know. I think that's just for people to decide. Damn. Yeah, rip in peace. Shadow Cree, rip in the shadows. Nope. Damn, that was a failed run. It's been a while since I've got a failed Dama run. Wow. Alright, let's see here. 33 minutes. Holy crap. Holy crap. Do I even? Fuck it. Whatever. But you know, it's just like, it's like one of those things of like, when I think this is where I do kind of judge, is at least in terms of like Onyplays and stuff like that, is like, I feel like when you're doing content creation, you have to start with the mentality that you may possibly accrue a following who, and it could be a niche amount of individuals, it could be a whole bunch of individuals, but like, either or, you still have at least one individual out there who may possibly watch your stuff and be like, this is what I need to get through my day. And that level of like envisionment, has the power to warp, has the power to change, has the power to inspire, to motivate. And if you're like, you know, saying like, oh yeah, like how big was your thing when you were a kid? It's like, come on, you know what I mean? What if now this person's gonna be like, oh man, like they're gonna be at this convention coming up, but I really want to get on their good side, so now I'm gonna start looking into all this really bad stuff I shouldn't be looking into, and you know what I mean? Like you got to be careful. You can't be doing stuff like that. You can't be doing stuff like, oh, my grandpa said N-word. I'm not saying it. He said N-word. I'm just saying that he said it. It's like, no, you literally just said it though. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, like used to I used to be a really big fan of Onyng, of Psychic Pebbles, Stamper, Rice Pirate, you know. I was never really a fan of Spaz Kid. It to me, it just like a lot of the comedy I felt was reliant on the sexual proclivity of the animation. I didn't really feel like it was well written enough, and but like that's the thing is like out of all of them, I feel like Stamper got dealt the worst end of it. Because, I mean, Rice Pirate, yeah, he tried to steal um, Oni's ex-girlfriend or something like that, or his girlfriend, whatever. Yeah, that's a pretty bad friend move there. But, like, with Stamper, it was like, this guy clearly has an alcohol problem, and none of you are speaking up, being good friends about it, you know what I mean? And when you really look into the Stamper story, right? When you really look into it, it's like you can't help but give a side eye to the rest of the crew, being like, damn, y'all just like, y'all, like, after everything this guy has done, you know, yeah, he said some hurtful stuff, but again, he said hurtful stuff. And for people who boast and claim to have such a thick skin and to be from such a era to where you have to have a thick skin, they had such a thick, I'm sorry, had such a thin, like, it was like dandruff-like skin that could crumble underwater when it came to him. And like it's like when you understand what alcohol does to an individual, it makes you aggressive, it makes you hostile. It's literally worse than heroin. Okay? It's worse than heroin. If any of you know anyone or have personally been through, sorry, pardon me, have personally been through rehab, like going to a legitimate rehab facility to where they sit your ass down and they're like, you're gonna stay here for blank amount of months. You go through the paperwork, they give you a bunk in a bunk bed, and they're like, okay, this time this happens, this time this happens. Your free time is from here to here. All that stuff. They will put you on, they'll ask you, how long have you been drinking? How much do you drink? How often do you drink? And depending how often you drink, you can be taking like 8 fucking medications a day. Some medications you'll be taking every half day. Sometimes they'll wake you up. Okay, hey, it's time to take your medication. They'll give you the pill, make sure you drink it, they'll check your mouth, and they'll leave. I've never been there, but I have a close acquaintance, I'll just say a close acquaintance who has been the one before because they had a huge drinking problem. And that's what they do. And through there, you meet all these other individuals, and then afterwards, you know, I went to AA to support this, we'll say, acquaintance, a fellow cryptid at AA. And you hear the stories of different rehab facilities as well. You hear their stories, all the medications that everyone's taking. They'll compare, contrast, all this stuff. It's more deadly, more dangerous, and it is worse than heroin. And the thing is, you know, Stamper had a huge alcohol problem. They would even joke about it in the Sleepy Cabin podcast. They would joke about it. They'd make remarks, comments about it, X, Y, and Z. And, you know, it was one of those moments where I was just like, damn, like, you guys, like, don't deserve my support at all anymore. And yeah, I wasn't giving them money, but I was giving them watch time. And so I'm just like, fuck it, no more. Like, that's awful, dude. This poor guy Stamper's couch hopping and everything, and he's reminiscing. He's like, yeah, they don't want to do it anymore because, you know, that they just, you know, and he would give his reasons why. And then Rice Pirate said the same thing. He was like, yeah, like they don't want to do Sleepy Cabin anymore because they've changed, and, you know, they feel they've changed personally and stuff like that in an interview he did. And it's like, it to me, it just feels like they're trying to run away from all of, like, the heinous shit that they said, and each of them said some pretty crazy things. I mean, don't get me wrong, Stamper said the N-word many times throughout Sleepy Cabin. A whole lot of times. I don't condone that. I don't say, hey, you know what, that's it's excusable because X, Y, and Z. Not at all. But what I am saying is that in terms of this situation that he was in and the quote-unquote friends that he was surrounded with, to be betrayed in that way, in such a cold way, and it wasn't seen like that because each of them have they have hundreds of thousands of adoring fans that are willing to suck their D at a moment's notice. The moment they get a DM, they're like, oh my god, I'll take a plane right now. So of course there's going to be a lot of people trying to have this and spread this herd-like mentality. I've been on the other end of that shtick. It sucks. It absolutely sucks because people will believe what they see on the internet to a fact, and they will go to the grave defending it until they're proven wrong. And it's like, why don't, instead of you trying to just believe what you see and have other people prove you wrong, how about you get fed this information and then you look into it for yourself and then come up with a conclusion? But a lot of people don't do that. Apparently a lot of people neglected science class. They don't know what a hypothesis is. They don't understand the scientific method. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And so it's just like, yeah, man. I think after all of that, especially the Stamper situation, like, you know, to me, I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, you guys are hanging around this guy who, even at that time, was drawing kid stuff, and then on top of that, apparently he held a knife to someone's neck. But, like, that guy still gets the pass, but then Stamper does what he did, and it's just like an instant drop. What does Shadman know? And this is what I was asking myself when all of that was going down, was I was like, what does Shadman know that they're still maintaining relations with him on about them that we don't know? Because usually, and this is just from personal experience, if someone knew something about me that I didn't want other people to know. For example, back in high school, I was exploring my sexuality, and I had uh, a boyfriend at the time, which all we did, the furthest we went was holding hands, and that's honest to God's truth. But like, and no, I'm not homophobic. I'm just saying that's as far as I went. Um, but even then, there was one other person who knew this, but they started to be a nuisance to everyone at school. They started to become a nuisance. And people were like, why do you hang out with them? Why do you hang out with them? And what they didn't know was this person was like, if you stop being my friend, I'm going to tell everyone in this school about you and your boyfriend. And I was going to a school that was heavily like gang oriented, that was very not cool with that sort of thing going on. And I was already getting bullied enough as it was. So, you know, that was that sort of leverage deal thing to where I was like, oh, okay, I'll say hi to you in the halls. But then now they're walking next to me and people are seeing this, and it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Someone, they would do something bad and someone would be like, what's your opinion on that? And I'm like, I know you're going to go and tell them. So, you know, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I mean, they're just being wacky or something, right? And so I guess, you know, with that in perspective, that's why I asked that question, not because I'm trying to insinuate that there is something that Shadman knows that other people don't, right? I mean, it's just when Onyng says that they're in an adult's body, but they have the mind of a child. A lot of those type of cases, something comes out, and I'm not going to say what, but something comes out about those individuals. So, I don't know. That's just my reasoning as to why I think the way I do, perceive the way I do, X, Y, and Z. Damn, this queue is not moving whatsoever. How much time am I? 47 minutes? Damn. Okay. Well, I want to hit my goal of 2,600 at least, so it should be like a few realm bosses. If this queue moves... Damn, none of these queues are moving whatsoever. But yeah, no, I mean... Yeah, sorry, because this all started with a realmer that was in the Nexus talking about how Shadman did nothing wrong. But, I mean, I don't know. That's up for everyone here to decide, which I would implore you. Look into everything that I said yourselves. Come up with a conclusion yourselves on the research that you've done and thought about and processed. I'm not going to tell you how to think, how to feel, how to stop watching them. I just, you know, am explaining my personal reasoning as to why I stopped watching them. I was getting a weird vibe. And so it's like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy when you like look into it and everything like that. I mean, damn, that's, you know, like Rice Pirates, kind of making the Smiling Friends launch after party kind of about him was cringe overall, and the girl who clearly wasn't interested in him but he was simping for was like, why did you even shake my ex's hand, which was Onyng, and he was like, oh, it was nothing, babe, it was just a power move, that's all it was a power move. Damn, that's psycho. So I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. Like, I know what it's like for someone to say something about you online and the vast majority just eat it up like a fucking fentanyl covered cupcake. It sucks. It's the worst fucking thing ever. But that's why, even from after quite a few years, many years later, I still have the proof, the evidence, that in fact it was the other way around. That way, in case that crazy psycho ever comes up again looking for clout, in case I ever do make it, I can just be like, hey, check this out. I get to legally give you one warning to back the fuck off, or I can go back to the lawyer and commence in the $4.7 million defamation lawsuit. And I'll get to present all this evidence publicly for all eyes to see that you brought awareness to. So, you know, it's just one of those things of like, you can never be too careful. You can never be too careful. And make sure you know who you're, make sure you know who you're talking to. You really got to make sure you know who you're talking to. Because a lot of people, I mean, you even learn it in interpersonal communications in college. A lot of people put on a mask. They will hide their true self with this self insert of who they think you want them to be. It's true. It's called a mask. Look it up. And it's not a real mask. It's just considered, the terminology is called a mask. So, yeah, be careful. I got plenty of death threats, plenty of KYSs, plenty of people. I mean, I literally received tens of thousands of messages over the course of, since it was uploaded, 2 years? Yeah, it was brutal. Very brutal. And it's crazy because around that time, I was at a mall, and while I was at the mall, I was in the bathroom, right, and I just got done washing my hands, and this kind of big, chunky guy, about 6'1", maybe 6 feet flat, and I know because I'm around that height. I'm not 6 foot tall, but you know, I'm around that height, so I can kind of gauge that type of stuff. I can eyeball it. And ooh, Toasty Marie's ripping toasty margarine. But like, I remember around that time, you know, this guy just starts talking to me, and I just got done using the bathroom, and he's walking up to the sink next to me. Mind you, there's like 6, maybe 7 sinks in front of that giant mirror. And he walks up to the one next to mine, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you know, how you doing today?" And around this time, I was on edge because I'm, you know, getting a lot of death threats. I'm, you know, and fearful for my life because there's people sending me pictures of the house where I was living on their couch. Pretty much at that point in time, they sent me a picture of that. You know, people doxing my location, all that stuff. And so, you know, I was like, I gotta be ready, like someone could just pull a gun out and shoot me right in the fucking temple. And so, you know, I made sure to arm myself, and, you know, pretty much, this guy was like, "Hey, how's your day going? What's up? How you doing?" what are you doing here at the mall? Like asking a bunch of really personal fucking questions. And I was like, I'm just here with all my friends, which I was. I was here with well, I was there, not there, not here or there. I was there with two of the people I was living with at that time, and two of the people who saved me from my previous situation. And so, what ends up happening is this guy's like, "Oh yeah, no, that's good, that's good. Your friends are out there?" I was like, "Yes, they are." And I go over to dry my hands, and he walks over to my right, and he puts his big fat fucking arm, thick arm, around me, and his hands kind of dangling over my left shoulder. And he's like, I like the way you look. And at this point, I put my left hand into my left pocket. And by pocket, I mean I had this kind of like windbreaker, I guess you'd call it, under another jacket that I was wearing. But I left them unzipped. And so I, put my hand in there, and I was like, "Get your fucking hands off me." And he stared smiling at me, and I'm looking at him dead in the face. And he was like, "You don't have to be so rude." But he still left his hand there, and I was like, "If you leave your hand there for even 5 more seconds, I'm gonna blow a hole in your stomach." And he was like kind of like looked confused for a moment. And I was just staring at him because I'm ready, because I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna have to use this 22 caliber in my fucking pocket. I'm gonna have to use this. This guy was sent from, this individual, and the slander, the defamation, the libel, all that shit. And he kind of backs away a little bit slowly. He took his hand off in that moment. He backed away a little bit slowly. He was like, "You're a fucking bitch." I was like, "Well, this bitch is gonna live another day, and so are you, thankfully, because you listened to what the fuck I had to say." And he just kind of stared at me for a little bit, mad dogged me. I stood there, and I was waiting. I was hella waiting, dude. I was ready. So I'm like, this is the moment. I'm gonna have to defend my fucking life, because I couldn't see his other hand. I couldn't see his other side. It was covered by his freaking beer gut and his man tits. But like, he was kind of leaning over during that whole situation, so I couldn't see. That was a danger risk to me. That was a threat. And so fucking he ends up leaving, and then I walk outside, and I tell these my two roommates, I was like, "Did you see this guy walk out?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude, he looked kind of like fucking pissed off." And he was like breathing hella heavy. "Why? What's up?" I was like, "Yeah, that guy," and explaining them what happened. They're like, "Dude, if I heard something pop off, I was gonna go in there and help you," because they knew the situation too. Because I explained to them, I showed them everything, all the proof, what that stuff, and they knew, going out in public with me was somewhat of a risk, but they didn't really care. But yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I mean, like, I don't know if it was just a gay bear who thought that I was about that, who thought he had a chance or something. I don't know if he saw that slander, that libel, all that stuff that went on, the defamation. I don't know. I really don't. But it was like wrong place, wrong time, dude. And so, I just, because I'm like that. I really am. I'm really like that. And I mean, even since then too, like, I don't know. I see the world a lot differently ever since then. Cause dude, it was a lot of views that video got. Enough for me to sue them alone for $4.7 million, and then I was able to sue the county for another few million because in the end there was I believe it was 11 or 12 cops that ended up showing up because a gun with its safety off, finger on the trigger, bullet in the chamber, cocked, was pointed at my head for trying to peacefully retrieve my belongings. Under 3 weeks. It was actually around the 2-week mark that I went back to try to receive my belongings, and my rights were not granted to me. So yeah, it was this whole thing. But pretty much what I am saying through that is, I guess, leading to the overall point of me talking about that is question for yourself, look into things for yourself, ponder on the results that you find. If you're still confused, if you're still wondering about something else, look into it before you make your final decision on it, because you never know. It can wind you up in a really bad position. Like, I don't know if that guy saw that video or not, but let's just say for the means of the example, right? Let's say he did, and he was there for that reason, because there was another individual who did try to assault me because of that video too, even called out my name and everything as I was leaving, I'll see, a restaurant. And so that didn't end well for that guy either. But that's the thing, is that like you really, really got to think about things for yourself. Be careful with the way you proceed, the way you act on certain thought processes, on conclusions, X, Y, and Z. And so with everything that I said about Shadman, Onyplays, Psychic Pebbles, Rice Pirate, X, Y, and Z, Stamper, look into it for yourselves. Don't take my word for it, right? Don't stop watching them. Don't go give them hate or nothing like that. Just, make a decision for yourselves. And you decide how you want to progress afterwards. So, with that being said and done, thank you all so much for supporting the series up to this point. I genuinely do appreciate it. If it's been a while, go brush your teeth. If it's been a few weeks, you may want to eat some food. If it's been a few months, you may want to take a shower. And more and most importantly, take care of yourselves in a healthy and responsible way so you can game yet another day. Alrighty, well, I will see you all in the next part, during the next part, at the time of which is the next part, once we get to the next part, in the event of which is the next part. So, until the next part, I'll see you then and there at the next part, once we get to the next part. So, alrighty, until the next part, bye-bye for now, and hello for next time. See you later. See you later. Bye-bye.